Hi, it's Erin with Simon Family Investment Ventures. Obviously, Simon's here in spirit. I know I haven't been on in a long time, but there's so much chaos that I just wanted to do a quick video. The markets are down, the dollar is weakening, um, the Pope died. You can see that capitalism in the traditional sense as we knew it is kind of dismantling. And I think it's important that you guys observe what's going on as the observer, but don't get emotionally tied to it and don't participate in giving your energy towards it. So, what do I mean by that? First and foremost, we know that gold is hitting their all time highs. You want to be stacking, stacking, stacking. Right now, the ratio is about 100 silver ounces to one. So, Simon always told you guys that the ideal ratio is 80 to 1. So, I would still really, really be putting my energy towards silver if you're going to be hedging against the weakness of the dollar. Bitcoin, you know how Bitcoin goes, slow and steady wins the race. Keep dollar cost averaging your way through that. But if you do have your eyes on precious metals, since gold's been hitting its all-time high, um, feel free to, get your gold and stuff like that if that's what you want to do. But if you are really trying to pack away the silver, yes, they're manipulating the prices. Yes, they're pushing prices down. It's still a really good idea to stack, 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 stack. Consider it on sale for now. Two, the more silver you buy, depending on how big your portfolio is, you can really start eyeballing at 100 to 1 as far as gold goes. Again, the ideal ratio, Simon's been telling you this for years, is 80 to 1. So I'm not ready to do that conversion yet, although I do have a separate portfolio for gold in itself since it's doing so well. Now, today it's not going to be a long live. I know I just kind of came out of nowhere. It's only been 5 months, y'all. Give me some grace. But I did want to get on here and explain when you see all of this chaos around you, right? Like I said, the Pope died. And I don't know how many of you know the story of the last Pope, but the story goes is that there was a Pope Malachi in I think like the 1100s, and he had this night-long vision of all the popes that were gonna be after him, and Pope Francis was the last pope. Hi, Les Square. Shout out to New Jersey. So they're saying that after Pope Francis dies, according to prophecy, Judgment Day comes. The other part of the prophecy is in the Vatican, you have like these place markers on the wall for each face of the Pope, and there's only one left after Pope Francis. So after that, it's Judgment Day, and they say on or about 2027. I'll talk to you guys more about New Jersey in the house. I'll talk to you guys more about what I think it really means in reality when they say the world is going to see judgment in 2027. That's not important for this conversation, but it is important. And I promise I will come back on here and I will sit down and I will talk to you guys about all of the metaphysics behind some of the world events that are going on. I don't know if you guys know that Klaus Schwab stepped down from the WEF. Many of you who used to watch our show know that I was big and heavy on watching what they were doing in the World Economic Forum. He stepped down. I don't know what that means. The clock is running out. The king is sick. It's a lot going on. Hi, Josh. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hi, Mr. Zam. You guys are cousins. You guys are going to hear me refer, especially the ones that like I know. You're going to hear me refer to you as cousin, like cousin Les. So welcome to the family. I am Erin from Simon Family Investment Ventures. We are the first family of Bitcoin. And I just want to talk to you guys today with the amount of chaos that you're seeing in the United States, the deportations, they're deporting U.S. citizens. I don't know. And El Salvador won't give them back. I don't know what's going on there. Your president, your sitting current president, looks like he rolled back some bills that supported desegregation. So it looks like, y'all are headed back to Jim Crow days. Shout out to the movie Sinners, 10 out of 10 recommend. Y'all should go see it if your spirit can handle it. It's a very particular spirit that I think can handle watching that movie. But with all of the chaos, all of the things that I kind of just ran down to you, the most important thing for you to do right now is to ground yourself. And you say, all right, E, what does that mean? It means don't get too tied up energetically in what's going on in the news, what's going on in the global markets. We're watching the industrial aspect, a little bit of industrial aspect that we have in the United States is being dismantled because of when the president decided that he was going to do the tariffs. China came out and said, we make your Louis, we make your Prada, we make your Chanel, we make your Nikes, we make your Birkin bags. And you can see the age that we're in. And the age that we're in is the age of Aquarius. This is the age of knowing. I know you guys like to come on here and talk money and talk finance and talk economics. Time is money, and you need to know and understand the time that you're in so that you have access, you can tap into wealth transfer, right? My grandmother would say, this is biblical. She used to say that the wealth of the enemy is stored up and laid for the just. They knew that in the end days, when the new heaven and the new earth was beginning to develop, that there was going to be a significant wealth transfer. All of the chaos that you're seeing around you is really them panicking because they're trying to figure out how they can, one, kind of mitigate some of the damage, two, keep the wealth in their control and in their protection, right? And three, they want to keep you off of your square, right? No pun intended, cousin less square, right? So this is why I'm telling you, in all of this chaos, you're watching basically capitalism and the infrastructure of capitalism, especially in Western countries, right? You're watching that infrastructure get dismantled. It is literally collapsing like a slow implosion, right? You're watching the era of physical money, physical capital, right, being digitized. Now, we've been in Bitcoin, God knows how long, Bitcoin, altcoins, so on and so forth. So DeFi, decentralized finance, and its digital assets are nothing new to us. But you guys have to understand, to the average everyday layman, that's internet money. It's not real. They don't really understand it yet. Our children do, right? I got a little one over here who's asking me for, I think, like $15 in Robux to buy some skins. So the up and comers, the little ones coming up understand the digital assets, but those in our your boomers, millennials, some of your Gen X, the average person doesn't really understand the concept, and B, not enough to strategize it for their own portfolio to hedge against all of the chaos that's happening right now. You guys do know that. Here in the age of Aquarius, I am Aquarius. Simon was Aquarius. This is the age of knowing. So what that means is, in this age, in this era, right? So the world never ends. When you hear the world's going to end, the world as you know it's going to end, what they did was they changed the word era to world in order to kind of incite fear in you. But if you read those old time books, them books printed in the 1700s and the 1800s, early 1900s, the word was era. So we're in a new era. The world will never end, right? It says world without end. We're in a new era. It's the age of Aquarius. It's the age of knowing. That means that those lies, you're seeing now, they're talking to you about Tartaria. They're talking to you. Hi, Stan. Thank you so much for joining. They're talking to you about all of the lies that's being exposed to you. You're getting to see what I don't know what's going on with Wells Fargo, but every time I turn on my watch list, Wells Fargo is getting fined for some type of deceptive practice. All of that stuff, all of those backdoor dealings, those quiet boardroom dealings, I call them those Titanic dealings. You guys should know about what happened with the Federal Reserve and the Titanic, which was really the Olympia. If you don't, let me know in the chat and I'll tell you the story. But all of that's being exposed. Your everyday layman is finding the truth out about almost everything. There's really no TikTok you couldn't find. There's no YouTube video that's not available. There's no book on Kindle that's likely free to you if you're a Amazon Prime member that you can access, where you can get the truth about what's going on and how it's all set up. So this is why I'm urging you, my Bitcoiners, my altcoiners, my precious metals maxis, right? This is the time. It feels so things are happening really, 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 really fast and really, 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 really slow, it seems, right? At the same time, simultaneously. Don't be discouraged by pullbacks. Don't be discouraged when you see that the market went down these amount of points today. Don't be discouraged when you see that they are suppressing the price of silver like hell in order to gobble up as much of it as they possibly can until they're no longer able to suppress it anymore. Keep stacking, keep dollar cost averaging, but mostly keep grounding, right? When you ground yourself, you are an electrical being, okay? We're supposed to be eating electrical foods, your fruits, real seeded fruits. Let me be specific because I'm in a place where I do get seeded fruits. Seeded fruits, seeded vegetables, the sun. You're supposed to be charging your water. How do I charge water? By a funnel. You put the funnel in when you pour your water, even if it's a water from a water bottle, get a little funnel. The water is going to swirl just like water swirls around rocks and brooks and waterfalls and stuff like that. That puts enough charge in the water to charge the electrical being that you are. Pretend you're a cell phone and plug yourself in every day to ground yourself in all of the ungrounding. Think about the chaos with the president, the DEI initiatives being rolled back, boycotts, businesses going out of business, Kanye's losing his mind. All of that chaos that's surrounding you all the time and every day, ground yourself, because all of that is ungrounding. That's why it's dismantling. It's all over the place. It's chaotic. It's anxiety. It is fear. It is overconsumption of things that add no value. You want to ground yourself. Before you make a decision in your portfolio, ground yourself. Before you sell anything in your portfolio, ground yourself. Before you buy anything for your portfolio, and this should be a very consistent habit that you have, right? When we talk about dollar cost averaging, it's little by little by little by little, as often as you possibly can. Ground yourself. How do I ground myself? I'll tell you. You can just buy a small bag of soil. I don't know the living situations of everybody here, but if you have an outside place that you can go to, doesn't have to be big, get you just a little bag of soil. Put that fresh soil down, get you a chair, put your bare feet in it, spend time putting your hands in it. And just quiet yourself, quiet your mind, quiet yourself, and see what decisions you need to make, what moves you need to make. I implore you, we do live in a digital age, the age of Aquarius. Aquarians by nature are inclined to technology. They're inclined to technological advances. The fact that artificial intelligence has really been taking off, happening in the age of Aquarius, is like that's what the age means. However, a little bit of tradition is important. As an electrical being, there are certain electrical firings that happen in the brain and in your hand. Get you an old school notebook. If you got to go get that marble notebook, if you want to get they have beautiful notebooks that you can get from Walmart, because we ain't supposed to be shopping at Target. The DEI at Walmart, you can buy it off of Amazon. I'm sure they have a lot of great Black businesses that you can patronize, but you get you a nice notebook. Do some stuff by hand. Writing in a notebook is not the same as using your iPencil on your iPad, right? You don't have the same firings in your brain, especially when you're building strategy. Um, Whatever it is that you are trying to conceptualize, whatever your goal is that you are trying to materialize, that you are trying to bring into fruition, write it down, old school way, in a notebook, right? Simon was also big and heavy before he passed. He was big and heavy on, even though he dollar cost average and a whole bunch of little things, he used to document all of those little things in a book. Not this book, this is my ThinkPad. But he used to document those things. He's got a nice leather bound, kind of manly like book that he used to document all of those things. Like, this is an Uphold, this is an Uphold wallet, this is in Robinhood, this is on Cash App, reminder, transfer to wallet. Write it down. Have a little bit of traditionalism in you in order to kind of help you in this age that we're living in. Paperwork. Always make sure your paperwork's in order. You when never know when you might decide you're going to take the exit on out of here, right? So you want to make sure, if you have beneficiaries who you want to leave your precious metals with, whether it be physical or paper contracts, your wallet, your hard wallet, so on and so forth. You want to make sure that you have your paperwork in order so they know where to find everything. Simon took his exit on out of here, expanded his consciousness, and I didn't lose a beat, right? Everything was where it was supposed to be. Everything was where it was. I was able to add on to it and so on and so forth. It's very, very important that you ensure, don't wait till tomorrow to do it. Just sit down in your notes or what have you, have a notebook, and make sure you tell the people who you are leaving those things to where they can find it and how to access it. There are so many wallets that are lost because the person passed away or lost a device or what have you. They couldn't access it. They don't know what the old authenticator was, and so on and so forth. And it's leaving wealth on the table. And it's a stupid way to lose money, to be really honest, right? Especially when you have old coins, old Bitcoin, old altcoins, right? You got Doge from freaking 2015. It just doesn't make sense to accidentally lose it because someone passed away and the information wasn't passed over to a beneficiary. So make sure you're on top of your paperwork. I told you to make sure you're grounding. I think it's also important. I know many of you have watch lists for your favorite coins, for the things that you particularly have an interest in, but you also want to set a watch list up on your cell phones to keep an eye on what's happening globally, because you're starting to see that it is having a major effect on the crypto on the crypto market, right? It may not be a huge swing, but it's enough of a swing where sometimes what's happening in the global economy can be an indicator to you to make certain moves. A few of you guys have been checking on me. I really appreciate that, kind of encouraging me, like, come back at some point, which I absolutely will. I'm going to try to continue to not only bring you the news of what's happening in the global economy, what's happening in Bitcoin, what's happening in precious metals, but what's happening metaphysically. Right now, you guys should know, many of you do, many of you may not, the earth is splitting. And when we say the earth is splitting, it is physically, but it's metaphysically, right? The earth is raising its resonance to a fifth dimensional resonance. That may sound crazy to some of you, go look it up. But it's also going to maintain a third dimensional resonance. For those of you who know about chakras and stuff like that, You understand that the 3D are your lower chakras, right? So if you're on Instagram, if you're on Facebook Reels, if you do YouTube Shorts, you are noticing, hi, Cousin Will, you're noticing an uptick in, I'm going to choose my words carefully, in third dimensional content, right? You're going to be hearing content regarding how trifling women are and how trifling men are, and just very like low quality issues and things happening. And that's what we call the lower chakras, right? Where there's a focus on the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus. But then the earth is also raising her resonance up to that heart chakra, right? The earth's naturally green. It's naturally green, but the sky is blue, right? So you're moving from your heart chakra to your throat chakra. It's raising its resonance. This is a big part of the purpose of the age of Aquarius. It is to raise the resonance to a more spiritual age, right? When I say spiritual, I mean it's going to be, hence digital, right? More airy, ethereal. Is this real? I don't know if this is real or not. And less dense. So it's important to understand, how does this change affect my wealth? One of the main reasons you want to ground is because you are working towards raising your own frequency. Everybody is their own world. You want to find ways to raise your frequency to bring in the manifestations that you have in your heart that you desire. For many of you, it's not wealth in a superficial way, right? For you, the wealth represents freedom. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. All of the dollar cost averaging, the studying of the coins, the studying of Bitcoin, understanding blockchain technology, understanding how the wealth transfer can possibly work for you is not for a superficial wealth. It is for you. That wealth represents freedom. It represents some sort of independence. It represents some sort of empowerment. It represents some sort of ability for you to do what you feel is best for you, the things that bring the experiences to you, that build you up as a human being, as a man, as a woman, so on and so forth. Mother, father, sister, brother, however you see yourself built up in your mind. And this is why Bitcoin is important. This is why precious metals is important. This is why the altcoin market, the different coins that have 350%, where you're able to turn profits in a way that are life-changing for a lot of you. It's what the wealth represents. This isn't so I can go buy a Birkin bag. I'm not about to take all of that I done built blood, sweat, and tears to turn it around and hand it over to a legacy brand. It is for me to build and work towards my own legacy. That is the thing that empowers me. And obviously, I am trying to do my best to ensure that the legacy is what he had envisioned it to be, when he was here and when he was teaching me how to build a legacy, right? What that should look like, and so on and so forth. But I have a few visions and conceptualizations myself for the legacy that we have, for the children that we have. So again, like I said, I'm not going to keep you guys. It's, I don't know, 5 o'clock. Oh, 3:33 on my clock. I'm 2 hours behind you, which means my message is resonating. It's important that this is the time where, hold on, you guys. Reggie! This is somebody's here at the house. This is the time when you are looking at your strategy. Many of you are looking at what's going on in the US and y'all are like, it's ghetto here, and I think I may want to go somewhere else. Start trying to figure out what that looks like, what it entails, what it involves, Some of you may just need to decompress, right? I'm not trying to pack up house and home and go anywhere permanently, but I do need a breather from all of this so that I can set my intentions and put together a portfolio. I'm making assumptions because I'm used to the core group here on the Gentleman of Crypto. Shout out to King, shout out to Trek with 2Ks, shout out to Cousin Rue. I'm used to, we're used to talking to the core audience where crypto is their main foundation. It is their focus. It is what they aspire to really build upon and build things on, right? Not just for the money. Some of them really appreciate the platforms and stuff they can build on from a technological aspect, from a project basis aspect. All I'm saying is don't get caught up in the hype. Don't add your energy to what's going on politically, geopolitically, geofinancially. You want to be grounded while the chaos is ensuing around you, right? You want to, like I said, go sit in the sun, put your feet in some beautiful black soil, put your hands in beautiful black soil, get you a notebook and a pen. Yes, it's the age of Aquarius, but take some oldies with you. Like I said, physically writing things down in a notebook. They have these notebooks, right? You guys are techies, you guys know. They have these notebooks, they're bullet notebooks, and they will transcribe straight to your iPad. But you want to utilize the firings, the electrical firings of the synapses, the building of the new pathways that happen from here to here. This is why we write. This is why the Egyptians did hieroglyphics. There is something magical that happens between the brain, your hand, and that paper. So you do want to kind of take some old school traditional stuff here in the age of Aquarius, here in the age of technology, in the age of artificial intelligence. I know there's been a lot of hype and some bad press about artificial intelligence. If I were you guys, and I always kind of try to come from a very strategic standpoint, use your chat GPTs, your chat ons, your perplexities, whatever chat GPT like program you use it to help you build your strategy. Ask it questions, run simulations with it. I know they talk about how evil it is and this, that, and the third. All right, cool, right? A match could be good or evil. A lighter could be good or evil. Water could be good or evil, right? It just is. It's really indifferent. Utilize Chat GPT or whatever you use the same way, right? Let it help you build your simulations. Let it help you build your strategy. Tell it the things you want to do and then ask it, what's the most efficient way for me to get this done based on our conversation? Give these things the thought that you need to take those inspired, actionable steps to get to the next place. I didn't go into, I didn't get into the solar eclipse we had. I didn't get into the pink moon, those timing, those eras. But I think in the shows to come that I will, just so time is money. And if time is money, then understanding the time that you're in and what's happening in that time and where your opportunities are and where your threats and weaknesses are can help you better develop the strategies you need to empower yourselves financially. Because when we empower ourselves financially, that's where power is. Right? Why you think they're hoarding all the money? Why you think 1% of the people got 99% of the wealth? That's where the power is. You want to empower yourself. You don't want anybody controlling your energy. And that's what's happening right now. When you get up and you go to work, they are controlling your energy. They tell you what time you need to be there, how much effort you need to put in. They put all these problems in your lap, and you're going to solve these problems to better there's the word I'm looking for. You're solving these problems for them to be enriched, right? You want to do the same for yourself. Many of you are entrepreneurs. I applaud that because it's very, very difficult. um, a lot of you are high income earners. You work in the tech industry and so on and so forth. Make sure that you're grounding yourself, you're establishing your strategies, you're understanding the time and the age that you live in. Hi, Jump Out Girls. Well, I don't know if that's Tima. It's about 43 though. Thank you, babe. Or 46. Come say hello to everybody. Hi, J-Man. Say hi. That's Reggie, y'all. So like I said, you want to make sure you're grounding yourself because of the chaos. Their whole point is to get you off your T so that while they're trying to figure out how they can maintain the wealth, they can siphon as much of it off of you financially and energetically as possible. So you want to keep yourself grounded. So you're constantly, you have your strategy, your dollar cost averaging, you're consistent, you're disciplined, you're taking inspired actions to the things that are important to you, that empower you. We're not focused on all of the things that can go wrong. I'm talking to y'all, but I'm talking to me, right? We are not concerned about all of the things that go wrong. We want to transmute that energy. We're alchemists. We are naturally alchemists. If you have a soul in your body, you are an alchemist. You want to transmute the energy of what can go wrong to let me list all of the things that can go right and figure out the most efficient, proficient ways, the inspired, actionable steps I need to take to get these results, to get these outcomes. Okay. So I just wanted to I know it's a little, I call it woo woo, witchy woo woo, but it's important. Like there was a time when that's what we as women did. We held the intuition, and the point was we were supposed to help community understand the time you lived in and the actions that you needed to take during these times in order to protect yourself, to empower yourself, to build up yourself, to, for some people, it was a way to strip them down, to deconstruct them in order to build them up stronger. So I'm not sure, what the collective here needs, but you want to find the ways to be grounded in this. Hi, cousin Tommy. Thank you so much for joining us. Um, as melanated souls, because that's who I'm talking to. I'm talking to melanated souls. It is important that you are grounded during this time, because if you think it's chaotic now, you don't understand what the word apocalyptic looks like. And they are willing to destroy the whole thing if it means that they get to stay on top. So it's very, very, very important. Step one, ground yourself, right? Take a walk in nature. Like I said, you're an electrical being. You just want to get that charge like you would charge your cell phone. Put those 2 feet and those 2 hands in fresh soil. It could be dirt, it can be grass, fresh soil, because soil is fertile. Soil represents the womb. And that's where things grow. That's where things thrive, the womb, right? And that's what fresh black soil represents. Put your feet in your hands there. You just need 10 to 20 minutes and you're charged. It's like those 45, it's like them 200-watt chargers. Put it in your phone will be from 0 to 100 in like 10, 15 minutes. That's what black soil does because it's fertile. It represents the womb of the earth. It's going to charge you right now. Whatever ideas you were thinking about, that fresh soil is fertile, right? You sit there, you begin to develop those ideas because you're charging, you're connected with abundance. You are aligned with natural abundance. Never forget that the earth that we live on is naturally abundant. They created scenarios of scarcity. We're supposed to have male and female trees, fruit's supposed to be rotten on the ground. If you eat an apple, you cut that apple in half, it'll have about 10 to 15 seeds in it. That's not 10 to 15 new apples. That is 10 to 15 that's 10 to 15 apple trees with unlimited harvests. That goes for anything, watermelon, you name it, right? So you are connecting with natural abundance. If wealth is what you're trying to build with, what you're trying to align with, grounding in that black fertile soil, you are connecting. It's like plugging into electricity. You're plugging into source. You are aligning. You're connecting with natural abundance. It is coded. Anything you put in that black soil that your feet and your hands are in is going to grow. It's going to thrive. And it's going to thrive in abundance, right? A tree. It is going to be an apple tree with unlimited harvest. It is going to be an orange grove with unlimited harvest. Whatever you can name that is natural growing on the earth with unlimited harvest. So it is the same thing for you on a spiritual level. Hi, Cousin Whistletown. I'm not going to keep you guys. Like I said, I just wanted to kind of get that across because I can see on my timeline, my For You page, my reels, my shorts, outside of the 3D content, that people are panicked. People are getting scared. People are confused as to what are we supposed to do now. Um, I saw when he rolled back the segregation bills. I said, "Oh boy!" I just finished watching Sinners too. I said, "Oh boy, Sinners." Michael B. Jordan. 10 out of 10 recommend, but I do want to let you guys know you have to have a very specific spirit in order to watch that movie. If you are kind of like scary and you're like, I don't do scary movies and stuff. It's supernatural horror, supernatural gore. I don't watch it for that. I watch it for the spiritual elements, which it had a lot. Michael B. Jordan, that's the GOAT. He did such a great job. um Integration of light and dark, shadow self, like great movie. But it is supernatural gore. So if you're one of those people whose spirit can't really take that type of uh I'm going to call it presentation because you're consuming it, don't do it. Right? Not that it's not a good movie, but you have to have a certain spiritual constitution or else you're going to come home and have weird dreams and stuff like that. um I think you should have a certain level of adeptness in spirituality, understanding supernatural things and how they work, and being able to see beyond what the director is showing you to go see that movie. So I just want to put that out there. I'd mentioned it to this lady. She asked, and that's a 10 out of 10 recommend, but she can't watch that stuff. So like, don't force yourself to do it. Don't let anybody force you into watching it if you don't have the spiritual constitution to handle supernatural. If you can't do like vampires and demons and stuff like that, don't go see it. Right? If your spirit can't handle that, don't do it. But it is an absolutely fantastically written. It was well put together, even with the room for a prequel and the room for a sequel. Right? Just as a writer, I'm a published author, so I always enjoy a well written story, well developed characters, and stuff like that as well. Um, I really enjoyed it. I liked it. Last movie I saw, y'all gonna laugh at this. Last movie Simon and I watched together, because y'all know we were Siamese twins when he was here, was Man on Fire, and I think that was like 2003. Haven't been to the movie since. So, and you know, my kids, we try to do family stuff on the weekends. So now your girls out in the streets with the kids. They want to go bowling. They go to the trampoline park. Mom, we want to go watch, and we watch Sinners in 4D. So we had the 4D experience. So the chairs move, there's stuff splashing on us, smoke coming out the screen where the screen is. Y'all, it was a mess. Great movie. 10 out of 10 recommend. Um, y'all check on Boy Moms. I'm a boy mom. Hi, Colonel. Y'all check on Boy Moms. So for those of you who don't know, I have 4 sons. 23, you guys saw Reginald, he's 17, Junior's 14, and baby is 8. His name's Santino. Y'all check on Boy Moms, right? I should be like 125 pounds. I shouldn't have no extra weight on me with the way they run me ragged with their activities and stuff. And their dad was really athletic. He was really into doing fun stuff. Would you like to come say hi? Here, give me that. Give me this. And then just say hello. Say hi. This is Tino. So I just turned 8 years old this month. Out now. Thank you. Here, go play. Y'all check on us. Pray for us. But I'm gonna let you guys go. Today's a master building day, by the way, before I go, right? Because I'm talking to y'all about strategy and stuff, and I ain't giving y'all the rundown. April 22nd is a master building day, 2-2. So it is not too late. It's only $5.49 for y'all. It is not too late to get you a notebook, legal pad, run to the corner store, get you a notebook or whatever, and start writing down your intentions, writing down the steps, the inspired, actionable steps to get you the beneficial outcomes you prefer, right? You don't even have to know how to do it. I write stuff down, and sometimes this is the beneficial outcome, significant beneficial outcome that I would like to achieve, but I don't know what steps I need to take here to get here yet. Your cousin Whistletone said happy birthday. But I don't know what steps I need to take yet. I'll sit and I'll meditate on it, and eventually my higher self will guide me towards it at some point, right? If you guys know how to meditate, definitely spend time in meditation. Spend time putting your devices down, even if it's just for an hour. Develop some type of consistency. I had the consistency down when Hubby Case was here, when he expanded his consciousness. As you guys can imagine, some of that stuff went right out the window. I went through a period of nothing's really important at this point, right? I went through this whole period where, is this stuff really important? Is this really important? So I had to kind of like reframe my mind, y'all. So, cousin Lester, happy birthday, Tino. So like I said, you're building these intentions because your outcomes are freedom, empowerment. Your outcome is the ability to do whatever you want to do when you want to do it, how you want to do it, without asking for permission, without permission. Right? You want to give yourself permission to enjoy, to feel joy, to feel gratitude, to feel the higher level emotions and not always the third dimension emotions, such as fear, anxiety, guilt, shame, doubt, right? Those are the emotions that they're constantly trying to push on you. They have these little frequency things they're doing in the United States. Those weird lights, for those of you who are in cities that have those weird purple night lights or whatever, all of those are affecting your frequencies, and they're suppressing your frequencies, and they're keeping your frequencies at a lower level. When you are trying to raise those frequencies, you literally want to bring heaven to earth. That's what this is all about, is figuring out a way to bring heaven to earth. And your wealth is supposed to be a tool, an instrument in order to help you develop and achieve that. We'll talk more about that as I'm, kind of giving you some of the geopolitical landscape, the geo-economical landscape, and so on and so forth. If you guys have questions, the email is still the same. I haven't done this in so long. Trek's name is there. I couldn't usually I put the email and everything there, but it's assets.arbitrage@gmail.com. Well, Whistletone for real, right? So this is important. Those third dimensional emotions are necessary and practical, but the idea is that there needs to be an integration. You get what I'm saying? So just like the rainbow, right? You got Roy G. Biv. Think about your emotions and your those frequencies. They're there because they are necessary. It's just that they're filtering out the higher emotions. You know what I mean? It's kind of like if I'm giving you food and I filter out all of the minerals, all of the things that make the food good for you, and you just got the food, you're just going to get fat. So it is necessary to have those Fear is necessary for you to recognize within you something that needs to be addressed and healed. So fear is important. Anxiety is the polaric opposite of excitement. When you're anxious about something, you know that it's stemming from a fear. You want to start looking at what limited beliefs do I have? Is it lack? Is it scarcity? Do I feel threatened physically? That's making me anxious. And am I able to transmute that anxiety into excitement? Since it's the same energy, it's just two polaric differences, right? Shame, guilt. There are things to look at. Guilt is simply, a lot of times, just the acknowledgement that you've done something wrong and it needs to be healed. Now, are you the person that you need to apologize to, or is there somebody you do actually need to make that apology to and then have a change of action, a change of behavior so that you don't keep running the cycle of guilt and shame? So, like I said, they're very necessary, but you have to integrate them, right? Just like a rainbow, all of those colors, you got the red all the way to Roy G. Bibb, all the way to violet. When those colors blend, you have white light. It's beautiful. When you put the filters there and you separate them, you can see them individually, right? Red light feels kind of weird. There was a Playboy Cardi video that came on. The whole damn thing was red, and I'm like, my eyes hurt from looking at this. But when you add those other colors, you get the white light. So there's a necessary thing there, but you don't want things filtered out so bad that it is of no service to you. It does not benefit you. It actually may harm you or keep you stagnant, keep you repressed, keep you suppressed, which is what they're doing. They can't live without us. They cannot. They cannot. Every movie you have ever watched, if you guys watch supernatural movies, they always tell you that the sun is a representation, is what, if you wanted to know what your soul looks like, they say it looks like the sun. It's a ball, looks just like the sun. But it has the power of 1,000 suns. That's where you get the idea of selling your soul, right? Why would somebody sell their soul for 100 million? Like, it's not even a tangible object to a layman, right? $100 million, $600 million, $1 billion. Why are these people selling their souls? Because energetically, it is what helps power this whole matrix. It is what helps power this earth. It is what helps power everything around it collectively. The soul. This is why you have to ground, right? Energetically, your energy is being siphoned off even when you're not aware of it. It just is. They figured out how to do it. They're ancient. They're old as hell. Some of them are the actual Grigori, the Watcher Angels and stuff, the Nephilim, whatever you want to call them. You got the reptilians and the this and the that and the third, all of the non-human beings who are preying on the humans, right? Ask yourself, why do we disappear at the rate we disappear at? Why are there so many such and such is missing? Such and such is missing. Such and such. We rotating all these babies missing, adults missing, just turning them missing, melanated ones especially. Because you know, when the non-melanated ones go missing, they're gonna do a whole search party for them. They ain't doing that for us. Right? There is value there. That's the soul. Y'all know how much melanin go for? It's not ethical, it's not moral, don't do it. But forget silver, forget gold. Melanin is like $1,000 a gram. That's why mugs be turning up missing. That's why organs be missing. That's why all that stuff be missing. And it's the melanin that is like that antenna that gives our soul so much more power. That's why when we dance, we light up a room. It's how Kendrick can have a whole Super Bowl show, just hip hop. That's crazy. We ain't never seen that before. Not really. I know we did the 50 Cent stuff, but that was a whole bunch of people. This was just Kendrick, right? That's why when we dance, when we cook, when we sing, when a black woman or a black man sing, your Luthers, your Patties, your Whitneys, you feel that in your soul, because the souls are aligning and connecting. Ground that, right? Align that with natural abundance to bring in the wealth and abundance you're looking for. Empower yourself. Look for those limiting beliefs. Look for the scarcity mindset. Look for those 3D emotions and use them as tools to help you. What about this scares me? What about this makes me anxious, fearful, guilty, shameful? And transmute that into some type of empowerment. Empower yourself in some which way, shape, or form, even if it's just one inspirational action that you take for yourself a day. Right? I don't know if men journal, but men, y'all should. Um, there's nothing emasculating about that. You just writing your thoughts down so you can process them and make the moves you need to make. You should look at it like that. And before I go, if you have a chance, you should definitely spend time in gratitude. I've talked to you guys about this a million times. You go on Amazon, they have gratitude journals. And every day I look for things to make me that I'm grateful for every day. Right? And I add energy to it by putting these stickers. I find 10 to 20 to 40. Some days I just have really good days. I don't do the little activities, but I do the daily gratitude. That you're grateful for, right? I'm grateful for this piece of information I learned. I'm grateful for this message I received. I'm grateful for the soil that charges me up every day. Grateful for the color yellow, because to me it's the color of joy. I know it's the solar plexus, but to me it's the color of joy. I'm grateful for 300 days of sun. I'm grateful for all of these things that come into my life that empower me. And when you change your framework and your mindset to gratitude, your intuition can really talk to you now and tell you, this is the next step you're going to take. This is the next move. Go do this. Don't do that. Do this. And you really, really want to tap into that, because it's natural abundance. It is natural wealth. It is natural prosperity. You want to tap into that. I hope you guys had a great Easter. I am going to keep in touch with you guys today. It's Tuesday, so I'm going to try to at least do a Tuesday and Thursday. That shouldn't be so overwhelming for me. It's a little sad, right? Because I'm used to doing this with Hubby Cakes, but we're in a time now where I do want to share a lot of the fifth dimension stuff with you guys, talk to you about Bitcoin's trajectory, where it's going, how it can benefit you, any newbies that are on here who just want to get a little bit more information, but they're too scared to ask. And definitely the hype with precious metals. Hi, Cousin Buckeye. I hope you had a great day. Thank you so much for joining us. If you guys could do me a favor and absolutely subscribe to the Simon Family Investment Ventures YouTube channel, I would really appreciate that. I would never sell you anything. We typically don't sell stuff. I do have some books that I'm kind of working on and stuff, but other than that, I don't sell you anything. You subscribing, sharing, and liking the content is more than enough for us. So I hope you guys have a great week. I'm going to see you on Thursday, and I'm going to be bringing you some concerning things that are happening in not only the geopolitical market, but the geoeconomic market. Hi, Cousin Paula. Thank you so much. We're doing well. So you guys know we're doing well, right? I'm working on keeping my frequency up in the higher frequencies. It's not perfect, right? But I am doing the inner work. I'm absolutely doing the inner work every day. I'm teaching the boys how to do the inner work. I'm watching the times. I'm taking advantage of what the times offer and what to do during those times. And I'll be sharing those things with you as well. So have a great evening. I love you all the cousins who've been checking on me, Cousin Les. The Colonel's been checking on me. Cousin Will's been checking on me. I really, 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 really appreciate you guys. Jump Out Girls were checking on me. I needed a little breather, but I think we can get back to it and help one another to become empowered and financially free. Talk to y'all later.